You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
What's going on? Cut the music. Stop it. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Oh, You Didn't Know? The episode today is going to be me telling you about, the Despair, Tenki for MSC, these guys with these guys, and the Spellbook of Life, which I'm going to put with these guys. As you can see, the band list is in effect, but I'm still going to run 3 Magicians and 3 of these, and 3 of these. I didn't know this was at 1. I thought it was at 3, but now it's at 2. But anyway, I thought it was at 3. I'm sorry. Somebody's gone, Sanya's gone. Anyway, let's get into it. Today, it's mainly going to be about continuous effects. So, what I want to say is, I'm gonna be here to tell you that if you chain MST to the activation of Tenki, the player who's using Tenki will not get their search. If you chain MST to the activation of Spellbook of Life, the opponent will not get their monster. If you chain MST to the activation of Abyss Bear, the opponent will not get their monster. And what I mean is that as soon as your opponent flips Abyss Bear, MST it. As soon as your opponent puts Tenki on the field, MST it. As soon as your opponent uses plays Spellbook of Life and pays a cost, MST it. You don't want these effects going off. The reason why is that these are continuous effects. Continuous effects have to be face up on the field to resolve properly. If you MST this card on its activation, it's no longer face up on the field, so it cannot resolve. So, if you really want to make sure you have that MST for these guys, I guess you're going to have to run 3. Maybe you could smartly plan how to use your MST. Like set MST, wait for the Despair, or wait for the Tenki or the Life. Just wait for them. That's one way of countering these decks. So remember, what you just learned, or if you already learned it, then what did you just go over? Chain MST to Tenki, Life, and Spear. Why? Because MST negates. I wish I could write that right here, but I can't. Basically, MST negates. Basically, because they don't get their search, they don't get the monster, and they don't get the monster, but they still pay the cost. So, yeah, it's cool. Next, let's talk about Dimensional Fissure, Macrocosmos, and these little guys that we hated back in March 2012, and for some reason are still here. Now, I'm here to tell you that if your opponent has a DFissure on their field, and you summon this guy or whatever, and use his effect, equip this guy from the hand, so you want to pop like a DFissure. Actually, in this situation, due to my opponent's field, I'll probably pop the Thunder King or the Magician because they could do stuff with that. But I don't know their deck. It doesn't look like they have any more cards in their deck, so I would summon this guy, equip with this guy, and I don't know, destroy, send him to the graveyard, destroy this guy, I guess. And yeah. Now, yes, that is possible, even with DFissure on the field, because DFissure says any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. At the time of Hornet being sent to the graveyard, it is an equipped spell card. It will turn back into a monster once it hits the graveyard, but while it's being sent, it is a equipped spell card, something like that. But just know, if your opponent has DFissure, and this goes to the graveyard, you get your Hornet effect. Just know that. I may not have explained it right, but I think I probably did. But just know you will get your effect. Your effects. Now, let's say your opponent is just trying to be mean and stuff. He don't like your deck and whatever, so he plays macro against your deck. And you have this guy on your field, and you want to use his effect. Equip this guy from your hand. Then you want to send it to a graveyard and pop Macrocosmos. But wait, you can't do that, because while this card is face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Any card. You see that? How Macro says any card sent to the graveyard, while DFissure says any monster sent to the graveyard. That's the difference. That right there is the difference. Inzektors will still get their effects if you have a DFissure face up. If it's a Macrocosmos, however, they'll just get banished, and you'll basically win the match. But then again, just because your opponent has macros doesn't mean Inzektors can't win. It's been proven. So yeah, maybe this will help you decide whether or not you want to run DFissure or macros. Maybe some of you out there probably want 2 of both or something. I don't know. Yeah, I may consider taking DFissure out my side and putting in a macro, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that. I guess you should put in macro. Like, if you're using DFissure now, you could probably take out DFissure. Well, DFissure for macro, because decks out here these days, they hurt. And macro really just hurts more. Now let me see something. This just popped in my head. Yes. Against Fire Fist, macro is better than DFissure. I may just think about putting in macro. So there you go. Okay, so what did we learn or go over today? We went over that MST, chained to the activation of Tenki, Abyss Spirit, and Life, will stop them from resolving, meaning they don't get their search, their monster doesn't come out from the deck, their monster doesn't come back from the grave. While DFissure is face up, Hornet can still be sent to the graveyard and will pop one of your cards. Macro's Cosmos will banish any Inzektor that tries to go to the graveyard, no matter what kind of card it is. Fire Fist. If you side DFissure against Bear or Fire Fist, they can still use their effects and stuff, because this right here doesn't stop Bear from sending a fire formation, but this does. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, anyway, moving on. We also learned that Sangan is banned, and so is in Monty. Let's move on some more. Moving on. By the way, okay. Dueling Network has this little pool thing right here. They updated. So basically what it is, you take off your clothes and you jump in a big old pool that's full of like 6,000 people. And, you're inside of this pool full of 6,000 people. And the water's dirty, of course, because, there's all these people in here and they're just crazy. So basically, what the pool does is it puts you with people around your level. So if you can only swim to 5 feet, then it'll put you with the people that can only swim up to 5 feet. If you can swim up to 8 feet or 10 feet, then yeah, I could put you with those people. Like if you can't even float in the water, you gotta walk on the ground like me. Then they'll put you back in the tubes or whatever in the baby pool. So yeah, you got your choices up there. You want to join the TCG pool, the OCG pool, or both pools together, which means like everybody's in there, like a whole bunch of people. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Remember what I told you. I don't want you guys going to regionals or YCSs and scrub outs. And all the stats been reset. That's not where I'm to go. I'm to go here. So yeah, don't look at my deck. Don't look at my deck. Don't look at my deck, people. Don't look at my deck. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to regionals tomorrow. And yeah, this is my deck right here that I'm running. I'm not going to tell you anything because, okay. I'm just going to bring up this deck so you guys won't see my deck anymore. Don't look at my deck. It's not my deck, though. And that's it. That's all I have to say. So, well, this has been another edition of Oh, You Didn't Know. Make sure you stay up on your rulings. Make sure you watch, enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back soon.